So much to love and unpack with the Echo Strength all-in-one rack with functional trainer, Smith machine, and storage. Let's talk about it. This is a 3x3 11 gauge steel rack. It comes with two 200-pound weight selectors on a 2-to-1 pulley system. You also get accessories like spotter arms, J cups, you get some D handles, the pegboard for storage, along with some hooks for that. You also get a landmine, and it also comes with two shroud covers for your weight selectors. Now, another good feature that's not really a big thing is that the guide rods are solid steel. Now, I know a lot of people may not think about that as being important, but it's a good thing that they're not hollow, so that way they don't flex under certain pressure or bend very easily in certain conditions. Now, also with the guide rods for the Smith machine, they are solid steel as well. And the system itself does run on linear bearings, so it's a very good smooth action as you go up and down on the Smith machine. So my review today is going to go over all the options that you can get for this rack. Now you can just buy this as a standalone where it just comes with the rack and the functional trainer. However, for me, I went ahead and upgraded it to the Smith machine and also with the storage. Now, one thing that I really love that Echo Strength did with this rack is that it's kind of modular. And I'll talk about that a little bit on how you add the Smith machine onto this without it having to be a different purchase like Makolo does. So if you was to buy this as a standalone, this would be the only piece that you would have. Now, this piece right here would connect to the front uprights. Now, when you buy the upgrade, what they do is they send you this part right here, and they also send you this part right here, which is an additional extender of the cross member. Now, these pieces all get put together so that way it makes it one long cross member, and it's very secure right here with the T plates. And then also you can extend it out, and so now you have your Smith machine. Now, Makolo, for example, they have a system where it has the rack system with the Smith machine. However, it's a different type of purchase. When you buy just the standalone with just a rack and the weight selector, it's shorter. And then when you want to get the one for the Smith machine, the cross members are going to be longer. So you either basically buy one or the other. What Echo Strength did is that if you decide that you want to upgrade your standalone with the Smith machine, you don't have to buy a whole nother rack. You actually can just buy the upgrade kit, expand your rack out, and then you add that onto it. So what that allows Echo Strength to do is that now they don't have to worry about having two different types of inventories. They can just have the standalone as their main inventory and then just have the Smith machine as an upgrade. So the good thing is, like I said, if you ever decide to want to upgrade your standalone rack with the Smith machine, you don't have to buy a whole nother rack. You just buy the upgrade kit and you just add it on there. I think that's very smart. Now, as far as the height of this, it stands at 94 inches, and that's pretty tall for a rack. It's not going to be ideal if you have a short ceiling in your basement or in your garage, but if you have a lot of space, like for me, fortunately, you'll be okay. But 94 inches. Now, the good thing about that is because of that 94 inches, it adds extra length for the cable. Now, the one thing I really, really love about this is that this thing has an insane amount of travel. Let me show you. All right, so let me give you a feel of how long the travel is on this. And as you can see, I'm way over here before I finally hit the top. I mean, that's just a lot of travel. Now, as far as the width of this, this is the more traditional 43 inches width wide. And with the stabilizer on the front, it gives you about 67 inches in depth. So 94 inches, 67 in the depth with the stabilizers, and then 43 inches within the rack itself. Now, the Smith machine is a nice add-on to it, but it could be improved, and we'll talk about that in just a second. Now, this is a 45-pound barbell. It has very passive knurling, which, for a Smith machine, you probably don't really care much about that. And it's set up on a linear bearings, so it has a very nice smooth flow with it, as you can probably hear through the microphone. Now, the one thing that you're going to probably have a lot of complaints about, and I actually will discuss some things I just found out that Echo Strength has been doing, is that it's very short down here. All right. So it has a lot of cutoff and it leaves a lot to be desired, because once this bar is down here at the bottom, this is the stopping point. It's not even past my knees. So I can't even do any kind of workouts like RDLs, can't do any kind of hip thrust. And it's one of the factors that I really don't like. Now, to be honest, I'm probably going to take a chance and take the springs out, and maybe even the spotters, because I really don't need them. Now, one thing I just found out from somebody on a group page is that apparently Echo Strength has taken that to heart. They've heard what customers have been complaining about. And now that when they're shipping these out, it has rubber stoppers. So if I'm not mistaken, there's going to be a rubber stopper on the bottom between the stopper and the plate at the bottom. And there's going to be a rubber stopper right here. So that way it gives you a little bit more depth down at the bottom. May not still be enough for me. I'm probably just going to end up actually just taking the springs off and just having rubber bumpers down here at the bottom to protect the barbell. Now, another good thing about the Smith machine is that it does come with the foot plate that you can add on, so that way if you want to do vertical leg presses, you now have that option available for you. Now, as far as the storage add-on, I gotta tell you, the storage add-on is a really nice option for this rack. It's not cheap metal. It's the same grade metal that's for the entire rack. So you get a very good quality, heavy storage rack. And the reason why I'm saying heavy, because when I tried to pick up the box, I didn't realize that the thing was almost 100 pounds. So the plates on here are not small, not thin. It's very robust metal, and it's going to be able to endure a lot of storage on there. Now, as far as the J-cups and spotter arms, they do come with UHMW lining, so they will protect your rack. But for some reason, the landmine didn't have it. I don't know if maybe Echo just realized that, it's just going to be down there at the bottom and shouldn't worry about it. But personally, I would have liked to see UHMW just to keep the foot from having any kind of scrapes and bruises on there. So I'll probably end up just putting some UHMW tape in it just to line it, just to keep it safe and protected. Also, with the spotter arms, it's a little bit different from spotter arms that I'm used to seeing. Usually spotter arms have UHMW on the top. For these, they decided to go with rubber. I don't really have an opinion one way or the other. I'm not a big fan of the rubber, to be honest, but I also don't use spotter arms for how they're supposed to be used as far as catching barbells or anything like that too often. So some people may not like that, and some people may not even care. Now, one of the things I don't like about the spotter arms is that they don't have 1-inch holes or any kind of holes in them. And that's important for me because I like to try to do certain type of accessories, and sometimes I would like to have those holes in there to be able to use like a roller or something, or to do dips off of and things like that. So these not having holes on it is kind of something to be desired from me, but some people are just going to use them for what they're supposed to be for. But I would have liked to see holes in the spotter arms. So because I talked about the 1-inch holes on the spotter arms that I wish that it had, it kind of brings me on to my next thing that I want to talk about, which are the things that I wish that this could have had to make it even more better and more robust. The biggest thing that's one of my things that I don't like is that the cross members up here do not have any kind of holes to be able to do any type of accessory workouts, or to do any kind of storage options if you're trying to put some things up there. For me, I wanted to be able to have some holes in there, so that way I wanted to put some bands on the Smith machine to be able to kind of counterbalance it, or if I wanted to put bands at the bottom to be able to do band training. I don't have any of those options, which is weird because the stabilizer has the 1-inch holes, but then as soon as you hit the ones in the back, there's no holes on it. So Echo, hopefully in the future when you're thinking about that, think about having holes on the bottom of these and even holes on the top, because it allows a little bit more options that can be expanded with the rack. Now, the back uprights also do not have 1-inch holes, and that's because they have the 12mm holes for the storage. Now, the back ones are not a big deal for me because the way I have my rack set up, it's against the wall, so I'm not going to be able to use anything back there anyways. However, for some people who want to be able to use weight plate storage, or use it for other kind of accessory storage, they don't have those options. Now, one of the things that I did see Echo was doing from their website is that they do have some weight horns that will be coming in the future, that you'll be able to add on. And actually, if you go to their website right now, they do have a for sale for the weight horn. I believe it's the lat pull down seat, and also the low row plate. So those are now available. They didn't come with this. They did tell me that they do plan on getting those coming in the next couple of weeks or so. So if you do order them, or if they actually do have them, they do have those features. At least they have the weight horns on the back. But for anybody who has any kind of 1-inch type of storage equipment that they wanted to be able to use, they're not going to be able to do that, unfortunately. So again, for me, it's not a big deal. Now, as far as the cross members in the back, on the bottom and the top, they do have the 1-inch hole. So you do have some flexibility to be able to use some storage back there, but not on the sides like you do on the front uprights. Again, for me, that's not a big deal, but for some people, they're going to probably take that into consideration. Now, I already talked about the space at the bottom for the Smith machine that I wish it had a little bit better depth at the bottom. So a couple of things else that I want to talk about with the Smith machine that I wish could have been improved on is, like I said, just having it lower to the ground. Like, there's so much space down here that's just not being utilized. Like, this could have really went down to the bottom, and there's nothing that's stopping this from hitting it from the bottom. And I think that's a very big flaw for people who like to be able to do hip thrusts, who likes to do RDLs, because now in order for me to be able to do that, I have to use some steps to be able to raise myself up, to be able to get into those lower range. But from my understanding, from what I've heard from people, is that that's been one of the biggest complaints about the Smith machine on there. And it's definitely one of my complaints, that I wish that thing had a lower range to be able to get down into the bottom. So Echo, if you're listening to this, just keep that in mind whenever you decide to upgrade this. If you make a version 2, improve the Smith machine. I also kind of wish that the Smith machine was also angled. It is straight vertical up and down. It being not angled is not a huge thing for me, but I know I know for some people they would like to also have that angle in there. So maybe that could be an option 1 as well. Now, another thing that I wish that this was able to do is, there's not options to be able to use gym pins or weight extenders down here with the storage on here, because the way that this is designed, if I use a weight pin in here and try to use 45 pounds, it's automatically hitting this right here. So there's no way I'm gonna be able to use 45-pound weights right here. Maybe 25s I can get away with, 10, stuff like that I can get away with, but most people who are using gym pins are using 45-pound plates, which brings me to our next thing. If I want to use gym pins, I would have to use them on the outside, and I can't use them on the outside unless I take the shrouds off. I like the way the shrouds look, and I can't use them, or I can't use the gym pins unless I take these off. So the one thing that I kind of wish that is that if this was able to be able to use with the gym pins on the outside, that there was a cutout in the middle, so that way you can still have your shroud and still be able to use a gym pin to be able to go up and down through there. Now, this rack is nothing short of Allen bolts, and I do not like Allen bolts. They're so easy to strip. They're easy to get stripped out. They're hard to remove if they get stripped. But to be fair, the Allen bolts on here, on every single one that I have had to use, I've had 0 issues on getting them in there and getting them nice and tight. Not one of them has stripped whatsoever. So it's not a concern of the stripping. I'm just not a fan of them. I never like them. I don't like them. But to be fair, at the same time, I kind of like the way all the bolts look through here. It gives it a very robust commercial look to it. I think it looks great. I'm just not a fan of Allen bolts. All right, so going back to talking about the functional trainer, as I mentioned earlier, it is on a 200-pound weight selector on a 2-to-1 ratio. I showed you the good travel on it. I mean, this thing has an incredible length on it. I mean, probably without, 8, 9, 10 feet before this thing actually stopped. It also has aluminum pulleys all throughout it. And I mean, this thing is incredibly, incredibly smooth. Let me just lighten up the load a little bit so I can just show you how quiet these things are. I mean, that's just absolutely smooth. Coming from the Titan Fitness functional trainer that I had bought back in 2001, I didn't realize how much pulleys have improved and system has improved in general, because that one was a little bit older. It worked well, but when I got this system and I got these pulleys, I mean, they were just so smooth. It's very buttery. I mean, this thing, it glides. It's a very good functional trainer system. I believe the cables, if I'm not mistaken, can hold up to 600 pounds because they are commercial grade. They are not the thin, typical ones that only hold about 300 pounds. These things are absolutely thick. Now, as I mentioned earlier, this does also come with a pegboard system, but for some reason, they only give you 3 hooks. Whatever. All right, so, but 3 hooks is what you get. I went ahead and ordered some more off of Amazon. not a big deal. I paid about $10 for a pack of 15 or 20 of them. Now I got more than enough hooks. It's able to store my 4.6 landmine attachment. I have my road attachments here, my ropes, and I got plenty of space to put more on there. I wish it was a little bit longer, or I'm sorry, a little bit longer this way. But outside of that, I mean, it's a very nice pegboard. And I just went ahead and just bought some extra hooks, even though they only give you 3. Now, going back to talking about the storage, they give you 3 different storage levels. They give you the one for the dumbbells. The second one is a flat one for kettlebells. And then you also give your ones for your medicine balls that you can store down there. And as I mentioned, this thing is very heavy, very durable. It gives it a very nice look. I like that the storage was able to take a lot of the stuff that I had on the floor and organize it into one system, and it's just been a great place to keep stuff stored at. All right, so we talked about all the things that I love, things that I wish could be improved on here. I talked about the accessories, the upgrades, and now let's talk about the price. And I gotta tell you, if you don't consider EchoStrength one of your options for a rack, for the options that you get and the price, you'll be crazy. At the time of this recording, you can get the standalone for $21.99. $21.99 for a 3x3 11 gauge steel rack. Now, if you do want to get the storage upgrade for it, it'll increase it by $200, and now you're paying $23.99. Now, if you do decide to want to get the Smith upgrade, that's going to increase it up to $26.99, and then if you get the Smith machine with the storage, it's $28.99. Now, it is Black Friday season coming up. Everything is going on sale. And right now, EchoStrength is running an incredible 15% off on their entire website for any purchases that you buy. 15% by using the code Black Friday 25. That's Black Friday 25 to get your 15% off. What that means that if you do decide to get the full upgrade with the Smith machine in the storage and you put in that 15% discount, you're going to get this rack for under $2,500. 3x3 11 gauge steel, Smith machine, storage, accessories, $2,500. That's just incredible of a price. Now, even when I was looking for a rack, I had several companies in mind. EchoStrength was one of them, French Sports, McCullough, and Giant Lifting. At the end of the day, nobody gave me a better value for the price that I was getting for this rack. Now, McCullough did come in close. However, they are a 12 gauge steel rack system and only 175-pound weight selectors. And then you have to pay more if you do want to do the upgrade. Nothing is out there that I have found that I've done a lot of research on. And I've been doing research for almost 3 months now before I decided to go with this rack. And I got to tell you, I have zero regrets buying this rack, even though there are some flaws that I wish they could improve on. It did not deter me from wanting to get this. I think that the rack system that EchoStrength is offering right now is probably the best bang for your buck that you're going to get, even though it is $2,500 or however much you pay. Again, you are not going to find, from what I've seen in my research, all of the features that you're getting for the amount of money. All right. So again, if this is a rack that you're looking for, just make sure to do your research. Again, I went over a lot of things that I think could be some the factors for people to want to look into. But for me, they were not enough for me to not want to get this rack. The customer service for EchoStrength has just been phenomenal to work with. They've been nonstop in contact with me every time I reach out to them. Sometimes it may be a day before they respond, but they have been very active talking to me. In fact, when I was changing out the bolts on here because they were on backwards when I got them, the trolley accidentally slipped off, hit the bottom, and one of the rollers cracked in the back and knocked off some of the lip on it. So I reached out to EchoStrength to see if I can just pay for another one, and they were nice enough to just go ahead and just give me another one to replace. I mean, that was just incredible. That's the kind of customer service that I like, and that's the kind of customer service that makes me want to go back to a company to want to continue to do business with them. So there's only been few companies that have done that, and EchoStrength has not let me down, and I really do appreciate them. I hope you appreciate them if you do decide to go with them, because as I mentioned, they are a great company. They may be new and they may be a startup, but from what I have seen and what I have experienced with them, I have no regrets purchasing this from them. If I'm not mistaken, I also believe that they also offer a 10-year warranty on this. So you're not just getting a wreck and then just being like, good luck, you're on your own. They stand behind their products. From everything that I've seen from myself and from other people that I've talked to. They've just been great. They've been very responsive. Even taking the time to replace the springs to put rubber bumpers on there lets me know that they do listen to their customers and they do want to try to do what's best for you as a consumer to win you over so that way you buy more from them. Now, and again, I am not sponsored by them. I did not get any kind of promotional from this. I paid for this just like you did. This is my honest review. I have some pros, I have some cons, but at the end of the day, this has just been an incredible rack. I love it. I don't regret it. If I need to do things like get holes in the spotter arm, unfortunately, I would probably have to buy some. But again, these are just things that I just kind of wish that they would have had on there at the beginning, but it does not deter me and it does not make me regret this purchase. So again, my name is Danny with DD Fitness. I hope you enjoyed this review. I hope you found the information that you're looking for to decide that if this is the rack for you, that I was able to help provide you some guidance on it. Have a great day. And as I always say, keep pushing.